Okay, so let's proceed to this example number 5. So how about if this one would be your problem, guys? There is a group of piles. Ito yung group of piles natin, friction piles natin, wherein we will going to determine the settlement of this figure. So guys, always take note, in solving settlement of pile group, there is a basis on how to determine the value for your H here. Doon sa normally considered that the formula yung dun sa delta H is equal to H CC all over 1 plus E. Yung H dun, guys, dito sa group of piles, merong meaning yun. Okay? In solving this problem like this, a group of piles. Yung H mo dun, it would be the consolidating layer. Okay? So, may method akong papakita mamaya kung paano siya i-solve. But anyway, before we proceed, bigyan ko lang kayo ng brief explanation or meaning ng piles. Okay? Kasi itong piles natin to, nadi-discuss ito sa foundation engineering natin. Kasi ito yung mga deep foundations. Always take note, guys, yung pile foundations natin are deep foundations, hindi siya shallow foundations. Okay? It is a deep foundations. It's either, yung element nito, it's either, typically, meron ding steel, meron ding reinforced concrete, meron ding timber, yung type of pile natin. And then, dun sa type of piles natin, meron din sa mga klase, it's either driven piles, board piling, and so on. Kaya later on, sa foundation engineering, yung i-discuss natin, or di-discuss namin yan, kung ano yung purpose ng piles pa. Okay? So, hindi lang tayo basta mag-design. So, we need to know what is the purpose of your group of piles or piles, and when or how to use piles later on. Okay? So, marami kayong matutunan dyan about pilings. And now, like what I've said, since we are in the basic principle of your geotechnical engineering about soil mechanics, I am here to discuss it to you. Paano naman yung tatawag natin settlement of pile group? Ito yung settlement of pile group. Okay, ito yung sasabi ko, guys. Like for example, this one is your pile cap. Okay, meron kang piles dyan. May piles ka dyan. Yes? Piles yan. And then, let's say that this one's your ground surface. Siyempre, there is a load here. Load feeder. And let's say this one would be your sand or clay layer. Tama? That is your sand and clay layer. Guys, always take note. In piles, yung bearing on rock essentially do not settle. Okay? Hindi siya nagse-settle yan. Yung piles bearing on rock essentially do not settle. And also, yung sand naman, kapag piles in sand naman tayo, yung settlement niya minimal lang. Okay? And then kapag piles in clay layer tayo naman, it may experience significant settling. Okay? So, the settlement, guys, of a pile group can be estimated by assuming that the supported block extend to a depth of only 2/3 of the pile length. Okay? So, like for example, kung ito ngayon yung length of pile mo, L. Yes? And let's assume that this one would be your lower stratum. Ito yung lower stratum natin. Right? Lower stratum yan. Okay? Yung settlement daw natin, yung settlement of a pile group can be estimated by assuming that the supporting blocks extend to a depth of only 2/3 of the pile length. So, kung L yan, let's assume that this one would be your 2/3 of pile length. So, ito na yung magiging 2/3 of L. O, yan yung una mong i-assume. Hanapin mo yung 2/3 of L. And then, from that portion, itong portion na to, kung ito yung 2/3 of L, ganyan, sa portion na yan, yung settlement, excuse me, sorry for that. Ano ba pa kasi? Yung settlement above 2/3 of L is assumed to be negligible. Inulit ko. Yung settlement above 2/3 of L is assumed to be negligible. But, yung below the 2/3 of L depth, the pressure distribution naman spreads out at a vertical horizontal rate of 2:1. Parang yung dun sa previous example na. So, mangyayari, extend mo pa rin siya, yung pressure distribution niya pa rin, yan, magdi-distribute siya or mag-spreads out siya at a vertical horizontal rate of 2:1 pa rin. And then, the presence, itong presence ng L over 3 na naiwan dito sa pile group natin is disregarded. Alright? So, ngayon, so if this one would be your consolidating layer, ito na yung magiging, tinatawag nilang consolidating layer. Consolidating layer. Okay? So, what is the purpose, sir? Bakit mo pinakita yan? Kasi dun sa formula natin sa normally consolidated and over consolidated soil layer natin, di ba, sa normally consolidated settlement, and delta H equal to H, C all over 1 plus E, logarithm of P sub F all over P sub O. Yes? Kasi dito kung minsan, dito kayo magkakamali yung value ng H. Like what I've said, if it is a pile group yung given, yung H mo, ang H mo dito would be your consolidating layer. Ibig niya sabihin, hanapin mo muna yung 2/3 of L, okay? And then from that, mag-start ka sa baba nito, up to the lower stratum, mag-spread out siya. Okay? Well, like for example, this one is a clay layer. Yan, clay layer mo, di ba? Yung height nito is, example, clay height nito is 12 meters or 18 meters. Yes, 18 meters. Ang H mo na dito, hindi na yung 18 meters. Kundi kapag pile group yung given, ang H mo would be your consolidating layer. It would be this one, yung H mo na dito. Okay? So, like for example, if the length of pile is equal to 9 meters, ang 2/3 niya is, or sabihin natin 6. Ang length of pile mo is 6 meters. 6 times 2, 12 divided by 3, 4. So, ang 2/3 of L niya is 4 meters. Tama? 4 meters yan. Kung 18 meters ito, and then 4 meters ito, 18 minus 4, it would be equal to 14. So, ang consolidating layer mo would be 14 meters. Nakuha? And now, how about if this one would be your problem? Meron kang group of pile dyan. This one is pile cap. Okay? Pile cap. Meron kang piles dyan. Yes. May load dyan. And let's say that this portion would be your sand. And then this portion would be your clay layer. Okay, ito yung lower stratum natin or permeable rock. Lower stratum. Then clay layer. How about if kung nag-lie dito ngayon yung 2/3 of L natin. Sabihin natin kunwari lang, exaggerated kasi draw. 2/3 of L mo. Okay, syempre dito yung pressure distribution niya nag-spreads out into 2 vertical and 1 horizontal. Di ba ito na yung magiging height mo? And take note, yung portion ng distribution mo is nag-start siya dun sa sand. Ano nga yung magiging H ko? If you try to solve this one dun sa delta H, HCC all over 1 plus EO, logarithm of P sub F all over P sub O. Ang H mo dito ngayon, hindi na ito. Hindi ito. Kundi, dun sa consolidating layer mo pa rin, kung determine the effective stress or the settlement, determine the settlement at the mid height of your clay layer. Okay, clay layer. Ang magiging H mo dito, the word clay, kasi clay lang focus mo ngayon. Okay, so kahit nag-start siya dito sa may sand, kung depende sa unknown, kung determine the settlement of at the mid height of your clay layer, ang magiging H mo na ngayon, guys, ito pa rin, dun sa portion na clay layer pa rin. Okay? So, ngayon, how about if ganito ulit siya, dito yung 2/3 of L mo, yan, kunwari dito yung 2/3 of L natin, okay, that's your 2/3, siyempre mag-spread out ng ganito, tama? And then, from this portion, ito yung clay mo, clay material mo yan. So, ngayon, still consolidating layer pa rin siya dapat. So, ang magiging consolidating layer mo na, ito na yung magiging H natin. Nakuha? So, naintindihan? Okay, so from my example number 5 and number 6, mas maintindihan nyo pa lalo. Okay, so that's it. That's the purpose of your settlement of pile group. And from there, we're going to solve problem like this. Okay? So, let's proceed to this example number 5. Sabi niya dito, okay, example number 5, the foundation shown in figure jm-05 is supported by 9 piles. So, as we can see in this figure, we have 3, 6, 9. So, 9 piles. And then the foundation rests on a sand layer underlain with 3 meter thick of normally consolidated clay. So, napansin nyo dito, sa figure natin, meron tayong dry sand. Okay? Dry sand. Yes. Dry sand, sand, and then clay. And as you can see, ang given is in terms of elevation. And if we will go to plot this one, to determine the distance, this one is 3 meters. Ito naman, 2 meters. Yes. And then this one would be 5 minus 8. This one is 3 meters. Excuse me. Okay? So, again, let's assume that your given pile length, itong length ng pile mo is 6 meters. Okay, this one is your pile length. 6 meters. Yan ang pile length natin. First question, compute the effective stress at the mid-height of the clay layer. Okay? Compute daw natin yung effective stress at the mid-height of the clay layer. So, simple lang. So, consider initial effective stress na lang kunin natin dito sa letter A. So, sa letter A, PO, okay, direct na natin. This one is your mid-height of your clay layer. Tama? This one is your mid-height of your clay layer. So, PO, 17.8 times 3 plus, ito, hindi na siya gamma sat yung given gamma prime na. So, diretso lang siya. Plus gamma, 10.2 times 2 plus, again, gamma prime din ang given dito, plus 9.3 times 1.5. Bakit 1.5? Ang unknown is mid-height of the clay layer. Okay? So, sulat kang PO mo dito is gamma dry times 3 plus gamma prime effective for your sand times 2 plus gamma prime for your clay times 1.5. Okay, so this one is your effective stress. So, where's my calculator? Okay, ito yun. So, 17.8 times 3 plus 10.2 times 2 plus 9.3 times 1.5. Okay, so this one is around 87.75 kilopascal. 87.75 kilopascal. So, this one's our answer. Okay, for your letter A. In-assume natin initial effective stress. Okay, letter B. Determine the increase in pressure at the mid-height of the clay layer. Ito na, increase in pressure tayo. So, ngayon, kapag increase in pressure, di ba, kukunin mo muna yung 2L over 3. So, 2/3 of L is 2/3 of 6 is 612. That is 4 meters. So, 3 yan. Yes. 3, 5. So, nandito sa portion. Nandito sa portion yung consolidating. Ay, dito tayo mag-start ng 2/3 all over 3. So, ito yung 2/3 over 3 natin. Yan. Ito yung 2/3 over 3. So, from there, spread out natin yung pressure distribution. 2:1. Okay? Ayan. So, ito yung magiging pressure distribution natin. So, ngayon, kukunin daw natin kung ano yung increase in pressure at the mid-height of your clay layer. So, kung ito yung mid-height niya, kukunin natin ngayon yung distance dito. From this point up to this point. Okay? Tama? So, again, your height from here up to here is 1.5. Sir, bakit naging 1.5? This is your clay layer. Ito yung clay layer mo, di ba? Ang height niya is 3 meters. Ang mid-height niya, kalahating 3 meters is 1.5. And then the distance from here, from this point up to this point is 1 meter. Okay, bakit na naman naging 1 meter yun? Kasi sabi ko nga, yung 2/3 ng length of pile, ito yung L mo kasi, length ng pile mo is 6. 2/3 ng 6 is equal to 4 meters. So, ang basis kasi natin sa 2/3 of L is hanggang dun sa pile length natin, pababa. So, di ba? 2/3 of L. Yan, ito yun, 4 meters. And then, kung 4 meters yan, 3 meters kasi to, and then 2 meters to. Siyempre, 5 siya, andito siya nag-line. Okay? So, kung 3 plus 2, 5 minus 4 meters of 2/3 of L is equal to 1 meter. Nakuha niya? So, ngayon, yung height dito from this point up to this point is what? 2.5 meters. Okay? 2.5 meters. Anong sabi ko kanina? Kung ano yung, dun sa previous example natin, kung ano yung height dito, height mo dito, it would be equal to the distance from this point, x, and then x mo dyan. Okay? Kung ano yung height mo dyan, equal lang siya sa 2x. Okay? Again, your distance here, guys, is what? Ang distance mo dito is 4 meters. And then, perpendicular to the paper naman, 3 meters. So, magiging view niya ganito. Set natin. So, extend ko lang to. Yan. Okay, so at mid-height of your clay layer to. Yes. So, this one. Yan. So, this is 1.25. 4 meters, 1.25. Okay? Or di kaya 2.5 plus 4 meters. Kasi sabi ko nga kung ano yung height mo dito, it is the distance of this one, x plus x. Kaya 2.5. And dito naman, it would be equal to 1.5 plus 3 plus 1.5. Or this is equal to 2.5 plus 3. Okay? So, ito naman, this one would be equal to 2.5 plus 4. Okay? So, from there, pwede na natin masolve si letter B. Determine the increase in pressure at the mid-height of your layer. At mid-height to, di ba? So, ito yung magiging top view niya. So, delta P at middle, yes, at mid-height, it would be, itong load mo dito, concentrated load, 2,400 kilonewton divided by your area. Your area is 2.5 plus 4 times 2.5 plus 3. That would be your increase in pressure at the mid-height of your layer. So, 2,400 times 2.5 plus 4 times 2.5 plus 3. Okay, so this is around 67.13 kilopascal. So this one's your increase in pressure at the mid-height of your clay layer. Dito sa portion eh. Okay? So that's it. And letter C, determine the consolidation settlement of the clay layer. Okay, consolidation naman. Normally consolidated, formula delta H HCC all over 1 plus E logarithm of P sub F all over P sub. Again, PF, okay? Again, PF, ito. PF is delta P plus P sub O. Ngayon, hindi na-specify sa problem whether it is a mid-height of clay layer. Sabi ko, kapag hindi na-specify, always at the mid-height of a clay layer. That is why, ang gagamitin natin dito, change in pressure would be yung mid-height. Increase in pressure is equal to 67.13. So, 67.13 plus PO, 87.75. 87.75. So, PF plus 87.75. So, PF natin is equal to 154.88 kilopascal. And then from there, substitute all the values, delta H, settlement. Your H here, guys, is what? It is the consolidating layer. Kapag pile group, guys, consolidating layer. Okay? So, like what I've said, determine the consolidation layer of the clay layer. And ngayon, yung 2/3 of oil mo, nag-lie siya din sa sand. Tama? Sand ito. Yes. So, ngayon, kung consider lang natin yung height dun sa clay layer. So, wag na natin include dun sa sand. So, meaning to say, ito na lang yung magiging consolidating layer mo dun sa may clay layer. Ito. So, ngayon, ano yung height nito?